Hi kitties, I'm back again. Alright, so I'm going to now talk about, for those that don't know, psychometry and automatic writing. I was only going to talk about automatic writing, but my guides asked me to go get two objects and come back and talk about psychometry. Automatic writing I'll just touch on first. I'll just get myself comfortable. Okay, automatic writing can produce many things. You can do automatic writing for readings, and also you might be starting off to write something yourself and just scribbling down whatever you're scribbling down. And the more you write, you might find yourself that your writing's actually going to be changing. So it could be changing to like a child. So I'm right-handed. So when I did write regression, that was actually me going back and recalling things from my subconscious mind and bringing it out, like doing a little bit of a mini reading for myself. Now, as I got to the age of around 5 and 3, I noticed my handwriting changed. It was like I was very hard on the pen. So I write like this, but I got very hard on the pen. I felt the strength coming through my hand as I pressed down on the paper really hard. Now, if you've ever noticed children writing, that's how they do it. So because I was connecting to a certain age, my handwriting changed. So you could find that happening when you're writing. Another thing that your writing might completely change. So as that, sorry, I had a little bit of a dot right here on my face, so it was annoying me. I had to swap posies. So when writing, when I had the no-sees come through, they're my ET guides, my writing would change to their writing. So they didn't write like human beings. They had an entirely different language, just as when they speak, it is, unless it's telepathically and they're doing their language, it is not English. It is not like any country. It's, okay, I'll give you an example. All right, I'll just get them to converse out. Now that is what they sort of sound like, but when they get going, they talk very fast. And 21, that's like when I first started communicating with me, I was actually in the shower, and for some reason I was singing to myself, as I sing to myself a lot in the shower with whatever songs come to my head. I just start singing. In other words, my guides pops in this music in my head, and I just start humming away to whatever it is that they've given me. So therefore, another thing that I sing in the shower, that's something you didn't really want to imagine. But anyway, so I was singing, oh God, what's that song? Kumbaya, my Lord. So I'd be singing Kumbaya. Now I can't sing for shit, but I still like singing. Kumbaya, my Lord. Someone's crying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Someone's singing, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh my, Kumbaya. Now that's probably wrong, but never mind. I'm just giving you an example here. Now, it would go from me singing that into automatically singing something else. And at first I was like, what was that? And not knowing it was the no-sees and everything, I'm thinking, well, I channel something evil or something like that, because you always think the worst before you think, before you find out the truth, don't you? So I was a bit scared about telling anybody about this language that I was channeling. So it come to the time that I went up to see a lady that I knew from many years ago that was a medium. I used to get readings off her. She was really good, really accurate and everything. And I thought, I'll go up and I'll ask her, because she studied it. She travelled to England and studied at the Parapsychology Paranormal University and actually studied for 4 years. And I thought, well, she's got to know because she knows lots of things. So I went to her and I asked her, and she said, well, she said that they're your guides. They're older than Christ, so they're over 2,000 years old. And I told her the information I was getting off them, about them, and described them to her, and she said, yep. So then I felt like, oh, I can breathe. But then when they started to teach me their language, I'd just be writing and I would just go automatically into their writing. I'm thinking, stop, I don't want to write your language. But in the end, they were teaching me how they write. And the only difference between them and my other guides, even Jeep, who's a light beam, the difference between when the no-sees come through, I can't, okay, just say hypothetically, Pauline's just said, tell them. Right, Pauline just said, tell them there is more than one form of being. Now, if the no-see said that, they could tell me in here and I could repeat it. And when I'm channeling my other guides, it will just flow out. And I know what I'm talking about because they speak, they're speaking English to me. But when the no-sees do it, I can't say it and understand what they're talking about. I have to either ask before what they've just said or after. That's the only difference I find with them. A couple of times when I've had entities come in and I've tried to speak to them like I would a normal spirit or a certain entity, and they've looked at me to say, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like someone speaking French or Dutch and you have no idea what they're talking about. You're just seeing their mouth and hearing their speech, but you don't know what they're talking about. So when I said to them, and they'd say, well, say this. And I would repeat what they said in my head, and then I'd say, so what did you say? Because they'd leave, and they said, we asked them to leave. Please leave. And I went, oh, okay. So not all things are governed under God. Not all things come from the same place. So therefore you are going to get other beings and things come in that are more advanced than human beings. And so therefore whoever is meant to come in to help you with that will come in. And I've said before, I think on, I don't know what, one of these recordings, or maybe I've typed it, I don't know, that we're not always reincarnated as human beings. We're not reincarnated as dogs or cats or horses, but other beings like me being a no-see at a very, 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 very long time ago. That's why I have that connection. So it's not always cut and dry, and some things we will probably never understand, like we can do things, but we don't understand sometimes how. We just can. So it's just like when someone says to you, how did you know that? And you go, well, I just did, So mysteries of life, I guess. Now, automatic writing is get a pen, like I've said, just start writing. Think of something in advance, like what particular thing you want to know. If it's past life, just write past life at the top. And then to start writing, in my past life, I was, and whatever pops into your head, do follow suit and just keep writing. Your writing will just get faster and faster. You might find it changes in, sizing and the way that you write, either script to, normal. Also, too, the same can be said when you're doing regression. Just whatever comes, just think what you want to know. And if you can't do it and you're stuck, put it down, go away, and come back. sometimes the more you try, the harder it is. So don't over try. I generally do say to people, just do it. Just don't try, don't think about it. If you can't do it, just write the same sentence over and over and over until you get it. Your guides won't stop talking to you. You might stop and think, was it them or was it me? Once you start and get rid of that confusion, then it will flow. Trust me, I know that from experience, from myself and also from teaching others. So it's quite easy, but if you get blocked and then you go into the pattern, I can't do this, or you're over trying, then you're going to stifle yourself and you probably won't be able to do it. So if you're not in the right headset, go away and come back and try again. There's no saying, never give up. You'll get it. It might take a bit of a while, but you'll get it. Now, with psychometry, that is the ability to read an object. So I've got two objects. So one is my watch. So I'll put that up to the screen. I'm not glaring. So that's my little China watch I bought off eBay. Now, I haven't had that for a long period of time, so that's current. So just imagine, right? So you pick up an object when you want to read in psychometry. Now, when people are trying to read things, sometimes they'll get themselves in their way of what's to come. Just hold it in your hands, and like I always say, I get my students to walk up and down. Generally, I'll walk up and down first, and then I'll say, follow in my energy, and then, bit of encouragement. You'd be surprised how quickly you can learn. And just whatever pops into your mind, whether it's visual, whether it's a feeling, like, or if it's like hearing it Clair-audience, or even if you suddenly feel pain on your body or whatever, just note it down and go, I'm feeling this. Because it's my watch, it'll be about me. So, and I have trouble with my sciatic nerve, so if you have a problem down there, sorry. So, yeah, so that's one way of doing it. You'd be surprised, I've read cars where a friend brought round, he asked me to do a reading, and then after the end of the reading, and he worked at what's called the RAC, Road Traffic Authority. They register cars and they do all that sort of stuff, licenses and everything. He asked me whether I'd go out and feel this car. And I said, I don't really want to, because it's out in the carports, and I lived in a block of 3 units, and I thought, what if my neighbours catch me grabbing to feel this car with my hands going over it? So, and that was a form of psychometry. So I went out to the car and I placed my hands on the glass. Well, as soon as I placed my hands on the glass, it was like something hitting me in the face, and I heard screaming, and I felt all this fear. So I was like, I sort of jumped back, and I thought, oh my God, what's happened to this car? Because you're reading the history of the car. So he goes, no, just keep going and I'll tell you in a minute. So, okay, I told him I had all this fear, and I felt like screaming from the back seat with kids, and I felt the roof, and I felt the roof had all been crumbled in. Now, it wasn't crumbled in at the time, it had all been panel beaded and it was fixed. So I said, I feel like something's fallen on this car. So it worked out. So in the end, he told me, he said, yes, that a tree had fallen down and the family were in the car and there was 2 kids in the back, but the tree had fallen. But because I was sitting there and there, it just went, it didn't collapse fully, but it did indent the roof. And because it was only the tree and the roof was crushed, the car was done up and it come through and he got it from the KO. So you never know. I've had friends bring me undies, jocks of their partners, and later told me that they weren't washed, which was, you should not do that. But anyway, by holding these objects, you are picking up on that person that's worn them. Now, they can be washed and you can still pick up because they're theirs. You can pick up when you go to the supermarket or shopping, and you know, when you pick up an object and all of a sudden you feel all this energy in your hands and you're like, oh, that is because the last person that has held on to it, their energy's still on there, so you can pick up from that person. Even walking through a shopping centre and then suddenly feeling pain and stuff like that, it's because other people are all, you're walking through everyone's energy. So, all right, now this is another picture. This is me and my son. I got told to grab this one. All right, there you go. It's not glary. So when you've got something, so if you want to have a little bit of a practice, now I was, how old was I there? I think I was 28. I was 28 there. So, and that's my son, and he's actually nearly won there because he was a premie. So, so that's Michael. Now, if you're looking at that picture and that, and you start getting information, just type it down if you feel like it, and I'll get back to you on it. So you might either pick up the history there, you might pick up history now, or you might pick up on just Michael, or you may choose not to. I'll leave that entirely up to you. I'm not forcing anybody to practice or have a go, and I'm not going to judge what you've put down anyway. Now, also too, back to automatic writing. It's not sometimes the easiest thing to do, but it's also a very good thing if you want to sort out, like, and find things from your past that you can't remember but is locked in your subconscious. Your guides will help you do this as well. So there's that bloody so again. Sorry about that. So I've done it again. The more I try not to say it, the more I say it. I'm fighting saying it. Okay, I'm not going to say it, but I really want to say so. So, yeah. So I'll let you try and practice with it, and you can get back to me. Now, if you want to try the psychometry, just hold it in your hand and just walk back and forth. Whatever pops into your mind, write down. The more you practice this, the stronger you'll get as well. And the same with automatic writing. If you don't want to do it by yourself, just think about someone that you know, or ask someone, may I do you a reading through automatic writing? You can tell them that you're new at it or you're not. They don't have to be in the same country as you. And just whatever comes out, just write and then review. This is a very good way, and you'd be surprised at what information that you can come out with. All right, leave it there, and God bless. And anything else you want to know, just feel free, or anything I get. And tomorrow I'll do the tarot cards when I can, and I'll upload them and show you how to use that. And I'll take along I might take along other cards too that I've got, but I'm more than likely just use the Riker. Okay, bye-bye.